Here, this is you. This is what you sound like. Ah, let's watch the soccer. Oh, wow, the Matildas. Go the Aussie soccer team. Go football, yeah. Let's watch the sports. Because you're a fucking sheep. And you're blind. You don't know that you're being blinded and distracted from the real problem facing our society, the biggest scourge on society today, which is someone wearing a bit of glitter, reading a book to a kid, no less. Because that's really bad. So thank God for these Aussie heroes. Now, these are the same Aussie heroes who spent 2 years banging on about 5G, Morgellons, the vaccine is the virus, chemtrails, NWO, gradually convincing each other to become anti-Semites. They arranged a protest outside a drag expo, which is a family-friendly event unless you're in the business of pretending that everything's pedophilia. So that's what they did. A Melbourne collective called Trans Queer Solidarity Legends, they organised a counter, basically to defend any community heading into or outside of the event, and to sort of make the defensive statement to say, you know, people who head to events like this should have every right to expect dignity and safety. Regular watchers of this channel might not know all of the various pissant, loser, nobody names, faces who currently kind of make up the scraps of this forming movement, who now all reckon they're child protection advocates. But two people who are all across it, and two people who I really value the contributions of and always stay abreast of, are the most excellent SOS and Sandee, who run the most excellent podcast, Tinfoil Tales. SOS and Sandee, thank you so much for joining me. I was hoping to get a little bit of a canon update on, the conspiracist canon on who some of the people that were in and around this drag expo protest last weekend were. So, to that in mind, let's go through a couple of people. Starting with a guy called Randall.
I consider myself to be fairly open-minded, guys. I'm not a highly ultra-conservative person. What do they call them? Pearl necklace wearing person or something. I think it's a derogatory remark. Meaning.
Randall is I think has become almost a one-issue protester. He has been very much the driving force around this whole drag story time issue. He was heavily involved in getting people to Monash City Council meeting.
Another speaker who was at the rally and was fairly instrumental in getting word out for it is Beck Freedom.
Beck is very big on TikTok.
Yeah, okay. Very big, like gets good traction?
Yeah. Yeah, like she posts a lot of content. She does take time to kind of curate her content. So she gets a lot of traction on...
I feel like everything gets traction on TikTok, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can just... It's the absolute death knell of all talent and ability. You know?
She is big on TikTok. She guests on Guru's show, probably maybe once a week or so. She gets a lot of praise on that, again, for her content. But lately, she just seems to be going around predominantly with Brad, to be honest.
End of Australia, have a look at what we're fucking dealing with here. It's about time we stood up against these fucking brat little cunts.
Now, Brad, unlike the others, is definitely in the canon of people that I have, at least in my world thus far addressed. I think I'd framed him probably in the right way at that point as someone who's really had abandoned whatever remains of his previous life to go and doss in parks in Canberra for a very long time and to mumble into camera phones about how everyone needs to wake up.
I feel like they are the end result of falling down the rabbit hole. That's where you kind of could end up at.
Yeah.
Not really. It's a bit sad. I don't feel very comfortable watching it.
It's more than what's in the news bites with the drag queen, and it's the very future of this country that is under attack, in my opinion. It's under attack from globalists.
Another speaker at the rally is named Matt. Is it Matt Trahey?
Matt has been protesting every week for a long time, to be honest. He then heavily invested and bought those speakers that get rolled around the streets in a giant contraption every week that
They're very
No one
good
seems to know.
speakers.
It's, I reckon every week someone will comment, like, what are they pushing around? Like, is that a bar?
I've never seen a speaker set up like that for any rallies before.
It's like, no, they made their own.
Very
speakers,
unwieldy
but-
too. Watching it get pushed back by the other people. I'm like, this is the most awkward thing I've ever seen. The most awkward conflict I've ever seen at a rally.
We've actually realised that Matt has been around for a lot longer than that, because he actually was associated with the Lads Society back in the day.
Yep. Yes, he was a trainer for people at the Lads Society at some point. You know, what would that have been, 2019, 2020 kind of era? Just sort of listen to this series of brief clips that I've put together from these speeches that were at this event, and see if you get a cohesive idea of what these people were actually there to protest about.
We are able to wear our straight pride t-shirts just as you are allowed to have your pride rainbow flags for gay, and good on you. We respect everybody. So I love all my drag queen, LGBTQ and my gay friends. This is not hate speech. What we are saying is this sexual behaviour and orientation should be for adults only.
Ooh, a sexy book. Sexy, very sexual.
You go to the Royal Children's Hospital's own website. It's under treatments. Puberty blockers are prescribed to children as young as 10 at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. The same drugs they use to castrate sex offenders.
Get out of the soccer! You're putting puberty blockers in your fucking kids! Stop it! Wake up! Stop watching the Matildas!
I worked out I was gay on my own. And if I was in the current schooling system, I would have transitioned. I would have cut off my breasts. You know, you can't reverse that shit. I've got nothing against trans people. I'm friends with trans people.
Let that sink in. Our judicial system in this state let a pedophile, an admitted pedophile, walk free from the court system because he believed Mr. Caulfield was of previous good character.
They're letting pedophiles out! Are you listening to me? You're trying to go into the drag expo, later on you're gonna go watch the soccer, fucking wake up! They're letting pedos out!
Television shows, movies, advertisements, even children's toys. They create harmful stereotypes emphasizing physical appearance and unrealistic body ideals and inappropriate behaviour. This is what turns this stuff into a trend. They are following a trend because you're making it seem cool.
Beck will often say that, you know, this is a trend, that it's cool, that kids are taking this on. Or Jackie she had a previous protest suggested that 75 to 80% of children, of trans youth, are committing suicide, and it's just not true. You know, studies show that the mental health of trans youth are impacted, for sure, but the risk factors for poor mental health in this community is peer rejection, bullying, discrimination.
That's the thing, you know, that's the point. They keep saying that trans people are more likely to take their own life. Yes, because they're having their life made hard. That's the biggest reason, is because everyone else is targeting them. Why do you think that's occurring?
Exactly. You know, and they have lack of family support as well out there. You know, this isn't about them feeling so bad about themselves because they're identifying this way. It's society's reaction to them.
Who is providing the hate speech? Because I'm not labelling you guys. I'm not saying you're all pedos and so forth. No, I'm not. Okay? But you're calling us bigots. You're calling us right-wing extremists and Nazis and so forth. But you are the people that are doing the labelling. You are the hate-speeching people, if you want to buy into that hate speech Orwellian concept. You know?
Yeah, righto. So a lot of stuff about pedos, but apparently they don't think they're all pedos. A lot of stuff about queer community events, but apparently they're not against queer or gay people. Basically, they're not really able to tell you honestly why they're there, either because it makes them uncomfortable or they think it makes them look bad, or they don't really know. Because this is just a continuation of the whole lifestyleism of the earlier anti-lockdown movement.
I really like these people are actually very aggressive and violent. So if the mainstream media come out and say that we're the violent ones. So I think that we've got proof otherwise. So
We've got to remember that these cookers came up as would-be activists during a time where the only real opposition they saw was from the state, like an overly militarised Vicpol. And now, because they've taken this new bend against, queer, family-friendly events and targeting drag performers and that kind of thing, calling everyone pedos, now they're getting opposition in the form of actual real human beings. But it is really funny seeing them completely not up to the task of accepting or handling opposition from the community.
They've had the run of the streets for 3 years, yeah? Like, they very rarely meet people in the streets, en masse. They get heckled a lot more now. On every week there'll be someone in general public that shouts, fuck off idiots, or whatever it might be, and they have their moment. But they've never really had to deal with people being in the space they believed was their God-given right to be in. So when they came down from the red steps and got to the lights and saw there was people standing in the exact spot that they said their protest was going to be, it was actually quite funny watching. Like, there was so much, them going up to the cops and going, why aren't you protecting us? Why didn't you stop them from touching our speakers? Why won't you arrest them? Like, one lady actually wanted someone arrested for ripping up her sign. Like, took her sign, someone ripped the sign out of her hand and ripped it up and were like throwing it on the ground and stomping on it, and genuinely was annoyed, talking to the cop like, is your video camera on? Did you record that? Like, I want that person charged. And like, the cop literally just looking at her like,
the sugar. Thank you. No, thank you. Look, I'll take the gesture that you'd like to give me Skittles. Thank you. I'm just trying to get through. Thank you. Yeah, that's harassment and assault. I'm here to report an assault. Would you like to speak to me?
If you're going to assault, you can go to the Melbourne West Police Station up there and report that, okay?
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the funniest comments was, we booked this space. And like, straight away, I'm like, where do you... Where is, like, is there a department? Like, is it at Flinders Street Station? Like, is there an info centre where you go up and go, hi, I'd just like to book this part of the site?
Yeah, I've booked this area to abuse.
A week on Saturday for 20 minutes, and like, that's...
Yeah, this is my abuse booking.
Mate, why are you coming over to him?
You keep pointing at me and threatening me. What is it? What are you saying? I'm going to find you.
Don't touch him, yeah? Alright, Brad. Mate, move the fuck away. Back up. You tried to start 10 fights already since you've been here. Go away. Go away.
How much charge you had this morning?
Go away. You came to him, yeah? Get out of his face.
Pointing at me saying I'm going to find you.
Get out. Get out.
Is that not a threat?
Get the fuck out. Mate, you've started on us since we got here, yeah?
You came and engaged with an event you're invited to.
We were going to the... Mate, we booked this before you... Oh, shut the... Mate, you are so disrespectful.
Don't give him attention. He loves attention.
Actually, it's so funny how they just could not fucking handle that one legend in the sharp patch, that skinheads against racial prejudice, giving him a bit of lip back.
Men of Australia, have a look at what we're fucking dealing with here. It's about time we stood up against these fucking brat little cunts. This one especially.
You look like a pedo still.
Fucking clowns. Anyone knows any of these people, fucking let us know.
You still look like a pedo.
These people don't know anything. They don't understand the difference between a skinhead and a bonehead. So it was just really funny to see some of their comments. I took note of their Nazi clothing. Shaved head, looked fairly fit, obviously targeting you guys. Military? Undercover police unit? That bald fuck looks like someone from Romper Stomper. Anti-fascist dresses as a skinhead? Not too bright.
So I just went down to the police station just now and asked them why. And I got told I could make a complaint.
I was at a protest yesterday.
Yeah.
The drag Expo one. Were you there at all, by any chance?
I wasn't. I was working yesterday, but I wasn't there, no.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys do group discussions or meetings or anything on how things go.
I can't speak for what the circumstances might have been in terms of that, I can't really.
Is there any officers on duty today that might have been there?
No.
The unbearable tension of having a small group of people stand in front of them and disagree with them got a bit much for some of these people who started getting a bit neurotic about Antifa.
You fuckheads, you fuckheads. Just watch YouTube, you dickheads. He's calling me Antifa. Ask me if I am. You Antifa. Ask me if I am. Antifa, you fuckhead. Ask me. Am I Antifa, you fuckhead? You are. You think I'd be standing here if I was fucking Antifa? You're a fucking retard. You're a fucking retard. You're a fucking retard. You're a
So I want you to know that this is not their first rodeo organising a counter to this drag expo. Randall tried it on last year too. I mean, they fucked up immensely that year. They actually got the wrong gate of the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre. They dawdled about, banging their stupid drums and basically yelling at the wrong glass window entry, all for nothing. But it shows you that they've had an interest in this kind of thing for a while. And I bring that up because I want you to think about the year that they've had since then. Because they had a pretty small showing of the usual kind of Saturday walkabout cookers at last year's Drag Expo. But again, think about the year they've had since then. The target painted on drag performers in the LGBT community has been immense. Endless cancellations of queer community-friendly or family-friendly events. Real worldwide kind of momentum building against events just like the Drag Expo. And in that context, with all this momentum, you'd have every right to worry about the threat posed by Randall's cookers last weekend. So why, you ask yourself, did it pan out to fuck all people in the grand scheme of things?
There's a lot of community that aren't here today that would probably wish they were here, out there, and I know because they speak to me and I hear it from other people. They are in agreement. We're not a minority here by any stretch. We are a majority of voices.
Righto, Randall. Mate, I think to do that whole silent majority thing, you kind of have to be able to demonstrate at some point that you have lots of people.
This event was supposed to be huge. And even I was thinking, maybe they might get a really good turnout. Like this, by all accounts, it should have been a big, big event. And by rights, this should have been a massive event. And I think maybe the numbers might have been 70 at the top, if we're going to be generous, at the peak. And even Randall afterwards was saying he was expecting a couple of thousand people to turn up to this event. And he was actually quite disappointed, which you should be disappointed. It was actually quite pathetic.
Disappointing, yeah, given you remember what their numbers used to be like. I thought they were going to get a few hundred. I thought they'd get a bit more. I thought their numbers would be less than they thought, but more than I thought.
I think that the fact that a couple of their speakers pulled out was a real blow to them. Like, I think they were generally back.
They were big speakers as well. Yeah.
And then they kind of just toddled off. Like they kind of, played some songs and yelled some stuff and had some speakers that no one really listened to. And then they just wheeled their trolley and see you later. They just
goodbye, and they'll never rally again. But you know the real reason why you fucking sheep didn't attend, don't you? That's right, because you were busy being distracted by the soccer, by the fucking Matildas, by the fake World Cup. And if you don't believe me, then take it from Matt.
We are living through what is without doubt the greatest psyop in history. This is the best. We are totally distracted. Just in case you didn't hear about it, we won a game of soccer. It didn't get a lot of press, but we know how important the games are. And Christian Petrarca, he kicked a ball that they said was touched, but it might not have been, and Melbourne lost. And there was some outrage about that. Saw some good rants on the net. These are the things that people are angry and passionate about. The average AFL attendance this year is 302,000 every week. You pay $27 to go and watch men kick a ball. We had an event on Saturday. We're trying to raise awareness of the government indoctrination and sexualisation of children. About 100 people turned up. It's without doubt the greatest psyop in history.
I could see these guys were gaining traction, real people power behind them. So I contacted my overlords and the powers that be, and I said, can you put on a fake footy season or two? Can you make a World Cup, please? Because these guys are going to stop all drag story hours otherwise, and I just personally don't want to see that. And they go, okay, no worries, Tom. And they did it. And I just want to say thank you so much to the powers that be. Thank you. Thank you for ruining Matt's plans.
Like, there was a lot of people in the city for the footy. There was a lot of people from interstate. And, like, they were all kind of just staring at them, like, mouths open, shaking their heads. So, like, we were trying to explain to people, like, this is what's happening. And they're all like, what a pack of idiots. And, like, they actually were seen as a little bit...
Yeah, but hang on, SOS. That's the whole point. Like, don't you realise that the only reason the footy was on was to distract everyone from... Thank you so much to SOS and Sandee for jumping on. Are really top-notch people and purveyors of excellent knowledge and updates regarding Australian conspiracists. Please go and catch up with their excellent podcast, Tinfoil Tales. I'll put a link in the description.
That fucking old line we've been using for ages now, like, what's it going to take to get everyone fucking up and going? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Every fucking thought that I can. How much shit fucking happened, you know? I don't give a fuck.